I just found out my ex-husband's daughter is getting married, and I've been holding on to his grandmother's ring all these years. Should I give it back? We got married at 20. I know how that sounds. Everyone in our lives knew how that sounded. My mom pulled me aside 3 days before the ceremony and asked me very gently if I was absolutely sure. I told her I was. I wasn't lying. I just didn't know yet what I didn't know. We met sophomore year of college at a house party I almost didn't go to. He was leaning against a door frame talking to nobody, just watching the room like he was studying for a test. I thought that was the most interesting thing I'd ever seen a person do at a party. We talked until 4 in the morning, and I drove home in the dark thinking something had just shifted. We dated 2 years before he proposed. It wasn't flashy. He did it in the parking lot of a diner we went to every Sunday morning, right next to his car, and I said yes before he even finished the sentence. That's the version of us I still think about sometimes, the parking lot version, the Sunday morning version. His grandmother passed away 8 months before the wedding. She'd been sick for a while, so it wasn't a shock, but my ex took it hard in that quiet way he had. She was the one who taught him how to cook, how to fix things around a house, how to sit with people when they were grieving without trying to fix that too. He talked about her constantly. I felt like I knew her even though we only met twice. The morning of the wedding, his mother handed him a small box. Inside was his grandmother's ring. Simple gold band, one small diamond, engraved on the inside with a date I never got close enough to read. His mother told him his grandmother had set it aside specifically for him, said she always believed he'd find someone worth passing it to. I watched him hold that ring and just go completely still. He walked down that aisle looking like a man who had just been trusted with something bigger than himself. When he put it on my finger during the ceremony, I felt the weight of it, not just physically. I mean the actual weight of what it represented. 80 years of a woman's life, her hands in it, her whole story in it. We had 3 good years, then we had 2 hard ones. There was no single moment it broke. That's the part people don't believe when I tell them. They want a story with a villain, or a blow-up, or some dramatic scene in a kitchen at 2 in the morning. Ours didn't have that. We just slowly became people who were better at being apart than together. Different ambitions pulling in different directions. Long silences that stopped feeling comfortable and started feeling like distance. We went to one couples counselor who told us, very professionally, that we seemed like 2 genuinely good people who had outgrown the same space. We filed the paperwork without a fight. When I packed up my things, the ring was on my finger. Neither of us mentioned it. I think my ex was so deep in the grief of the whole thing that the logistics didn't register, and I was running on autopilot, just getting through each hour. I packed my boxes, loaded my car, and drove to my sister's apartment, where I slept on her couch for 6 weeks. About a month later, I took the ring off, put it in a small velvet pouch I found in a drawer, put the pouch in my jewelry box under everything else, and that's where it has lived for 12 years. I never pawned it, never lost it, moved 4 times, and it came with me every single time, still in that pouch, still under everything. I couldn't tell you exactly why I kept it. It wasn't spite, it wasn't sentiment exactly either. It was more like I knew it didn't belong in a pawn shop or a donation bin. It belonged somewhere specific, and I just didn't know where yet. I kept tabs on my ex the way you do with someone you shared years with. Mutual friends, occasional social media glimpses. I knew he'd remarried. I knew he had kids. I let myself feel happy about that in the way you do when enough time has passed that the old dirt has gone soft. And last week my cousin sent me a screenshot. His daughter just got engaged, 23 years old. Big smile, hand up to the camera, that particular kind of joy that is almost too bright to look at directly. The caption said she was over the moon. I could tell. I sat with my phone in my hand for a long time, because the week before our own wedding, my ex sat across from me at that Sunday morning diner and told me he wanted to pass his grandmother's ring down to his daughter someday. Not hypothetically. He said it like it was already decided, like it was one of the fixed points of his future. I remember nodding. I remember thinking that was the kind of man I was marrying, someone who already knew what mattered. He doesn't know I still have it. Or maybe he does, and he wrote it off as a loss 12 years ago and never looked back. Maybe he replaced it somehow. Maybe his daughter already has a ring and none of this matters anymore. But I keep opening that jewelry box and looking at that velvet pouch and thinking about a 22-year-old woman holding something that was never really hers to keep. I don't know if reaching out after 12 years of silence to hear something open that's better left alone. I don't know if showing up with this ring is a gift or just me needing to feel like I did the right thing. What I do know is that his grandmother set that ring aside for him specifically, put it in a box and made sure it found its way to him on the most important morning of his life. And somewhere in this city, his daughter just got engaged.